Hi there, my name is FixFox and welcome back to Factorio. Folks, I love Factorio. It's one of my all-time favorite games. I've got more time in Factorio than I do in pretty much any other game other than like League of Legends, and quite frankly, that's time I regret. But I haven't regretted a single instance of time that I've spent in Factorio, and we're gonna go back into Factorio here today, and we're gonna play some new Factorio. Bearded Man's in the chat. What's up, man? Nice to see you there. Woohoo, Factorio, exciting. I did not know that you were a Factorio enjoyer. Yeah, Factorio is one of the best games of all time. And currently we're about 3-4 hours into this run. It's going to be a combination of a Deathworld run and a Lazy Bastard run. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with Factorio, Factorio is a game that is not really base building and simulation. It's more like factory building. You have lots of great, unique, individual, tiny pieces. And the little tiny pieces work together and you get to build them up in a way that's going to generate a gigantic factory. And ultimately the goal is to get off of the planet that you're currently on. Now, these, you do have to beat some biters to survive, but ultimately that's not why you play Factorio. You play Factorio so you can have a great big base. And this run here today is going to be tough because specifically we are dealing with the max biters possible, and we are also dealing with some major issues in regards to Lazy Bastard. We can only handcraft up to 111 items. That means that every time I want to craft something, I just can't click here. Like I can't click on this to get a box. I have to go into my assemblers. I got to plop this down. I got to say what I want it to do, and I got to build it like that. But folks, it's a great game. Let me take you on the quick tour of where we are currently at. So I started off on this crashed planet right about here. This was my spaceship. Great little spaceship, love it. I've got some general power up. We've been able to work our way into 2 patches. We started off on a planet that has lots of trees, and that's exceptionally good because biters love pollution. Trees eat pollution, and so all of this base is putting out pollution. All this little smoke you see from my smelting array stacks, from my copper production to my iron ore production, all of this is spitting resources into the air. When I hit M for map, and I zoom out, you can see that this red cloud of death is essentially what's going to encourage the biters to attack me. I've got big bases I have to deal with, and we've got an awful long way to go, folks. There's no more time that I can do for a introduction. That's it. That's the only introduction that you're going to get at this point. I got way too much stuff to do, and I think that step number 1 is actually going to be going straight on into chemical science. We've got a little bit of red, a little bit of green, a little bit of black science, a little bit of the military science. We need to get right on into some serious chemical science because I need to do this eternal arms race. I cannot fall behind on the biters any further than we already have. Okay, we're researching chemical science right now. I don't think that I actually want to do much more in this general area to get more miners up. There may come a time where we might just get overrun and I might have to just scrap all of my current building because that's just kind of where we're at. This is my general mall sort of situation. As items are pulled off the belt, they'll go into my assemblers. That'll make things. Things are made, they get put onto a belt, they get put into a box. I have them for a later date. But right now, I want to make sure I have enough resources so that way I can get on into additional, let's see, where are you? Oil refineries and chemical plants. There's going to be an awful lot that we have to do here. And I came all the way down here because I knew that I was going to need a couple additional resources. As I walk through these belts, I can just pick stuff up off the belts, sure. But ideally, you're going to find stuff in boxes. And that's going to be a little bit better for you. Let's get as many, let's see, not as many, but pipes, underground pipes, additional smelting opportunities. Yes, let's get whatever we can here. Continue on. Yes, great. So we're building oil refineries. We are building chemical plants. And we're building much more soon, but we just hit chemical science. This is my research tree. I'm able to look up lots of different other researches. This is what I'm really going for. I really need to get into military 3. If I'm going to be able to defeat the biters, I do tend to rely on these poison clouds from the poison capsules. Those do go pretty well for me. And then at some point, we're going to want to get into, I mean, pretty much everything. We're going to want to get into advanced oil processing. Right now, I'm not sure we can survive. I might be expanding too quickly and too recklessly, and the poison might be coming to get me, and when it does, we might be dead. So you know what? I might even just go for modules, go for the efficiency modules, and just try to keep the enemies at bay that way. I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to go for modules right now, and we're going to look to go into the green efficiency module. That's going to reduce pollution, reduce power consumption, and then other things to do. Let's plan on going into advanced oil processing pretty quickly. And that will be the plan. And on this screen, the game is currently paused, and so I don't actually have to worry too much, and this actually gives me a chance to catch up on chat. Beardman says, I've only played the demo so far, and I loved it. I'll probably buy it on the summer, regardless of if it goes on sale. Dude, it's a great game. Highly encouraged. Factorio is absolutely a 10 out of 10. Pixo's in the chat. What's up, Pixo? Always great to see you there. And Vammy the Vampire. Vammy, always great to see you as well. Hope everyone is doing so fantastic today. Folks, we do have solar panels. I'm just going to hold on to these. I don't think that I got any issues with my power consumption. Yeah, we got up to 17 megawatts. The bar on the left is your satisfaction. That means how much power am I requesting? The bar on the right is how much power can I use? So out of the 17 megawatts available, I'm currently only using about 9.5 or so. So I'm actually doing pretty okay on power at the moment. We're going to go for one more of these oil refineries. I find that 5 typically works just fine for me. More or less doesn't really matter. And then 4 chemical plants, I guess that's what we're going to work with at the moment. Okay, alrighty. So in order to get into the blue chemical science, we're going to need sulfur, advanced circuits, engine units. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure we have to build. And I think I'm going to keep all of my general structures for science. I'm going to keep those in the southwest. That seems like that'll be maybe the best thing for me. I'm going to start plopping some of these down. I got to get rid of some of my defenses. I don't play Factorio because I like fighting biters. The reason that we're doing this run is that I'm pretty okay at Factorio. And so I've played a lot of Factorio. I should be able to handle a Deathworld run with some of these additional constraints. There's a lot of times I'd love to just build out of my hand rather than have to build with some other big situations, like building with, for example, through an assembler. But it's a unique challenge. It's a challenge that's going to work for me. We're going to make it happen all the same. But this is probably going to be frustrating for some people that like to see a lot of Factorio played just based out of people's hands. There are times where it makes sense that that's what people enjoy, but that's just not what we're going to do today. Do we have... I got 2 here. How much... I gotta consider. I've got exactly 1 pump. And that's actually good, because if I have too much pollution pumped out of this one little area, we're gonna have some real problems. I think that with these 3 flamethrowers, with these gun turrets, I think it's gonna be okay, but I'm a little bit scared about overconsumption there. I'm still worried about here, still worried about here. And if we're gonna get into, let's see, I think we're just gonna bootstrap this, which means we're just gonna go for the bare minimum, absolute bare minimum. I think it's gonna be probably 2 sulfur outputs, like so. And eventually I'm gonna get the water over here, and then I'm gonna push everything to the south. Probably gonna be what we end up doing. Okay, so we're gonna go here and up and around. I do have 1 lake, and that's to my far east. Right now, typically I like to do things in a way where long term you're gonna feel happy and healthy, and things are gonna just like expand at a nice gentle pace. I like it when I can make things expand in a way that just doesn't bottleneck myself for future issues. But right now, I think that I'm going to be so far behind in my issues related to biters and pollution. I think that I've actually got to just do whatever I can to get any kind of infrastructure up without it killing me. Do I really want to do that there? No, I want to go on. I want to go on top, because I'm going to build additional power on this side of the belt. We're gonna do it like this. Is that gonna be enough? Barely. Okay. So all I'm doing here, this whole thing I'm doing right now, is literally just to get water. That feels pretty bad, because it feels like I've been playing for quite a bit of time, and I'm only taking out 1 thing at a time. There's only 1 thing I can do at the moment. We don't really need 2 water pipes, but we just picked 1 up. That'll be fine. Okay. So water is now being supplied through these pipes from the big lake here. The water is also being used to help generate steam through the coal-driven power plant. And the water is going all the way back up the pipeline to this place. So for these little factories, we have the little assemblers here that can make stuff. We also have these chemical plants that can make stuff. You got to have the prerequisite materials. So water and petroleum together, when crafted, will make something brand new. And that's going to be sulfur. And so I'm going to kick the sulfur out here. And for now, I think I'm just going to put it into a box for both, because eventually I'm going to get these going the direction I want them to. But for now, this is going to be just okay. I've got these 5 chemical plants. I'm gonna have a little bit of oil. I want to be very, very careful. I'm gonna just have one more of these plants that is supplying this petroleum. It's taking the crude oil and then turning it into petroleum. I'm just gonna have 2 of these plants out of the 5. I just want the other 3 just for later production. I'm probably not gonna put all my petroleum into the same spot. It's gonna be very, very tricky because plastic and like things for red circuits, those are just gonna be very, very costly. So we have to keep an eye out on things. Let's not be hasty. I need to remember not to overproduce because that is gonna hurt me. Right now, we're not making anything, and the advanced oil processing is requires blue science. I don't have blue science at the moment, so let's actually do something better. Let's actually get forward progress here. Explosives. I mean, landmines are interesting. Landmines are required for the tank at some point, so we are going to want that. Let's get explosives now, and then we do want these green efficiency modules. Again, that's going to cut down on pollution later. Let's see. And Bambi says, why are bootstraps so important in American sayings? I mean, we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We don't have enough economic power, so we have to bootstrap everything we do. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's like a call to an older time, Bambi, where we enjoy pretending like we're still on the Wild West, the frontier, and your boots were your most important piece of equipment, which might be the case. Pixel says, I'm just passing by. Got work to do. It's always nice to see you. Hey. Always nice to see you. We'll catch you there. And Lord Shadowwing is watching in 160p. Holy kittens. Hopefully that's going really, really fun for you. Chris is in the chat. What's up, Chris? Yeah, we're playing some Factorio, having a fun time with it. It is great. And then Bearded Man says, wasn't pulling yourself up by your bootstraps meant to indicate something impossible? I mean, technically, but somewhere along the line, I think people stopped saying it ironically. Bearded Man, I think that they started saying it like, oh yeah, you should be able to do this thing. Like, just toughen up, kid. Just make this happen. And then we kind of all realized like, oh wait, no, we can't actually do this. Like, so I think that you're right. At one point it was something that was impossible, and then people just stopped realizing that, oh yeah, maybe sometimes we just think that these things are possible or impossible, and they're not. Okay, folks, we're losing stuff. I'm completely out of ammo here. 1, 2, 3. I did lose one of my gun turrets. Right now, the biter evolution is up to at least spitters and up to the medium biters. And so the medium biters will take a pretty good chunk out of your wall section here. That was the first look we really had at biters there, but so long as we can supply ammo, these gun turrets are going to automatically destroy anybody that comes a little bit too close. And they did destroy, it says here, alerts one entity was destroyed. Feels bad when it happens, but when it does, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, we didn't get into that yet. Chemical science to the north. Okay. I'm going to want to bring up some lines of material, probably one of each. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to assume that this line is going to be saturated by this row of smelters. It's not currently being used. I'm going to take a full line of iron ore off the belt. Folks, this is like the smallest amount of iron ore I would ever recommend anybody ever has. But again, if I do any more, the biters are going to get very, very upset at me. And so I don't want to do too much. I'm going to start to get a couple of additional belts here. I just have belts, undergrounds, and splitters. This is the way that I can move materials. So I can manually move materials for myself, which kind of sucks. Or you can use belts or trains or some other method, bots, what have you, to move items around your base. I prefer to use belts as much as possible. And when you use belts, what happens is you become something of a spaghetti chef because your belts all wind and twist and they go all around, and where they stop nobody knows, right? And it's not too bad. When it actually happens, it's not too bad because you tend to have a little bit of fun with these belts and finding a little bit of the puzzle that it takes to get stuff to go where you want them to go. That's not actually bad. In fact, that's what I would consider to be part of the fun of Factorio, if I'm being 100% honest with you. As you get later on in the game, most people have a better idea. We're eventually going to transition into what's known as a bus type system, where you're not going to have to try and get all these individual inputs into your machines to make big, cool stuff. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to have all of our lines of productions going in the same direction, and it'll be a lot easier for us to move items from one side of the base to the other. That's going to be what we tend to try to do in the future. But for now, again, because of the limitations and the scaredy fix fox and the things that I fear, aka biters, I'm going to try my best to avoid running into them too much. What I'm doing here is I'm going to try and rather than have one full line of iron ore, I'm going to just have a half line here, and then I'm going to have half of a line of copper production over here, because I don't think I'm going to need all that much when it comes down to it. So now I got to snake my materials here. I'll do fine in just a second. And it's going to get messy because this is my current copper ore production. I definitely need to get this upgraded, not just a little bit, but a lot. In fact, we built so close. We built so close that there's just no feasible way of making this happen. There's a part of me that wants to tear everything down, and then there's a part of me that just says, let's just do the best we can with what we have, because unfortunately our bad decisions from before are now compounding on each other. When have we ever heard that happen to FixFox before, huh? Which game? Pretty much every game. Every game we play, our bad choices end up compounding on each other. And maybe there's something fun about that. Maybe there's something fun about realizing that you have to be a little bit smarter than the game, otherwise the game will chew you up and spit you out. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a couple more of these miners. And I'm not going to do a usual build where I supply power through the center. It'll save a little bit of space. You can stack miners more on top of each other. At this point, I'm gonna do it like this, just so, whoa. Excusez-moi. I'm gonna do things in a way that's going to, again, not be good for the long haul, but for now it'll work. Specifically, having the miners not be as fully saturating this mining patch as possible. That is something that future FixFox is going to have to deal with. That's not going to be my problem until later. Sir, that is not my prerogative. Sir, I don't mind. I don't mind. If somebody else has to deal with that in the future, I'm not going to have to deal with that. Somebody else will. Okay. Okay, all right, so we've more than doubled our copper production. I can go to this production tab here, and I can go down and I can say copper plates, for example. I was producing 75 a minute up to 151 a minute, and then it kind of leveled off there. And so we've gone from 75 up to about 180 plates per minute. That's pretty good. So we've done more than double. That's not too bad. If I get some additional steel furnaces, they're the upgraded version of the normal stone furnace, then we can increase this production even further. But again, we did all of this just so that way we can potentially improve our materials to the north. We just got to get some of this copper to the north. There's a long way to go to make that happen. Okay, we're gonna do this half belt here. We're planning on going right about here. Yeah, that'll work. I'm not gonna like it. It's not gonna look pretty. I'm probably gonna end up moving this radar somewhere else. It doesn't have to be there, so let's not paint ourselves into a corner. This is gonna be messy. It's all so messy. But at least for the first time in a long time, we're finally getting red, or rather copper, into the red science production, which is good. It's not just good, it's critically important. Game doesn't work if you don't make science. So the way you unlock tech and additional opportunities is through science. Science is not a small thing. It takes a lot of your resources. R&D takes a lot of time and a lot of resources, but the benefit is incredibly important. I don't think that there's a single thing on this screen that I could have researched unless I could have made unless I'd researched it first. And so it feels really, really nice to actually start from nothing, like a little caveman scratching upon rocks to try and eke out something of an existence on this hostile planet. It's nice to start with nothing and then ultimately get yourself to a place where you're having a really, really fun time. So yeah, so far not so bad. I didn't say so far not so good. It is what it is. We're doing the best we can. Okay. All right, green circuit production. I really wish I had two. I only had one, but right now I can't even support that. Okay. Copper line is going all the way up. At some point, I'm going to need steel, but because steel is going to be one full extra line and I'm not going to need so much steel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab steel and I'm going to just put it into a box up here. There's a principle in Factorio that is pretty critically important, and that is that you want to automate everything because it's much simpler to do something right the first time, and then so that way it never has to be dealt with again. But alternatively, you can just kind of keep everything going by hand with your attention. The problem is it's gonna eventually get not just tiresome and boring, but your system is gonna get so complex that it simply will not work. Like, you will not be able to actually make things work. But until that time, we're gonna do the best we can with what we have. Okay, so we're getting sulfur. That's fine. Are there any problems up here? We're still pumping oil so very slowly. Yeah, there's only one pump. In this whole place, there's only one pump. I don't even know what to do with that. Slowly, the crude oil is slowly coming on in here. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. There's got to be another patch somewhere. And then when I get that new patch discovered, I'm probably going to use solar to run that. So that way I don't have to run my power all the way out there. I'll still probably, rather than train it, like put the oil on a train and then send the train in and out, I'm probably just going to pipe it in. Not because that's the correct way, just because that's the easiest way. Okay, so we're already getting plastic. We've already got sulfur. We're gonna need red circuits, right? And that's gonna require plastic, copper, and green circuits. So to get the green circuits, we got the iron and the copper plates. So let's get this set up right now. We're gonna do this setup over here, and we're gonna hope the biters just don't eat this part of the base anytime soon. In fact, just to make sure they don't, I'm gonna move my production just a tiny bit closer. We're gonna do just like this. It's going to be exactly one line of grain circuits, which will be sufficient. I think it'll at least be sufficient to get a trickle going anyway. Gonna let that run. And it's going to look just like this. We're going to go fast inserters here and here. Hold on. What we've done is we've indicated that we want copper wire to be made in these two assemblers, and then we want green circuits to be made at this point. We got all the prerequisite materials here. And that's gonna start working. It's gonna start pumping that out. So what we did is we just built one of the prerequisites for our red circuits. I think, oh boy, if I could just get 3. Building into this area that I don't really want to build into, but if I could just get this started, that should be okay. We're gonna go to right about, we're gonna go here. Gonna do some more copper. And this is gonna be so janky, but I love it. Oh, I love it. I'm here for the struggle. Because recently I just got burned out playing other games. And so I needed a different kind of struggle. That's really what's happening here today, folks. I need a different kind of struggle. I like games that are fun. I like games that are tough and interesting. I like games that you have to learn how to be your very, very best. That part's really not too bad. I really do enjoy that. I just noticed that recently I've stressed myself out with some of the games that I've been playing, and that's not bad, but you know what? Today was just not a day to be stressed. Not a day to be stressed. And unfortunately, I've played so much general Heroes Might and Magic that I just don't have the energy to play any kind of Heroes Might and Magic today. Which, it's like, Fix Fox, you sure you don't have any energy to do so? And I'm like, yeah, surprisingly so. I actually don't have the energy to do it. Oh my gosh. That's part of the problem. We're gonna cut production to the plastic here. We're gonna have enough plastic. In fact, I'm gonna put all the plastic except for 100 bars back into my inventory. And we're just gonna make sure that we have one unfettered line of plastic production coming in this direction. And so it's going to go from here to there. Even this is probably a little bit too big for what we want to do. I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to truncate this design just because I think that more than 4 isn't going to be worthwhile anyway. Geez, as soon as one of these bases triggers a biter attack, we are absolutely toast. Okay. We're gonna go to here, and so now we got plastic coming on in. So plastic is coming all the way to here. The red circuits take copper cables, which are being supplied here, green circuits, which are being supplied here. there's a concept in Factorio with ratios. The idea that, well, I mean, this is pretty obvious to me anyway. A green circuit takes 3 copper cables and 1 iron plate. So one of these structures can't power this structure without it turning off or having disruptions in flow, right? And so then you got to ask yourself, well, this advanced circuit takes 6 seconds to craft, and it takes 2 plastic bars and 4 copper cables and 2 electronic circuits. Do I have the prerequisite amount of resources coming my way in order to make that work? That's always going to be the question for you. And at this point, everything seems like it's going to be just fine. These red circuits are starting to work. I do need to get a few more of these red long-handed inserters, because red long-handed inserters are the way that oh, there you go. They're the way that I can move items over belts fairly quickly, fairly easily. But once I do, things are going to be just instantly, you're going to see, oh, FixFox has finally got just a trickle of what he needs to be successful. And all I need is a trickle. Folks, please believe me, all I need is a trickle. And then later, now is not the time to smash our production. Later will be that time, but for now, we just do need the trickle. Okay, so what do we got? We're trying to make science, and the science for the blue science takes red circuits, which we now have some. It takes sulfur, which is here, essentially. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and then we also need engine units. Engine units are a little bit more complex to build. And I think what I'm going to do, because I've already got engines being made over here, and in fact, I've got a little bit of a surplus here. I think I'm literally just going to put it into a box for now. No, don't do that. Don't do it, FixFox. I know you want to, but don't do it. It's bad for you. It's not correct. It's not the Factorio way. What I'm going to do is this. I've just spent all this time getting these resources up here, and now I'm going to spend the time getting these outputs all the way back down. And it sounds so silly, but it's actually going to be the cleanest way for me to make this whole shebang work. And the only cost is it's going to take a crap ton of resources. By the way, we've got our efficiency modules researched. That feels pretty good. Chris says, I'll see you around. It's my dinner time. I'm required to cook. Perfect. Have so much fun having such a great time cooking. Boyster says, no joke today. Just a small lurk because driving to my parents. You know what? I will supply you with a joke then. Warrior Sir, it's always a pleasure to see you. Okay. If I was going to give you a joke, what joke would I give you? Why do chickens make the very, very best pets? Why do chickens make the very, very best pets? Because. Okay. All right. There's my joke. Gotcha. Gotcha, sir. Roman, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it, sir. You got 12 months. Did you know that? That's an awful lot. Appreciate you so much, Roman. Always a pleasure to have you here. Bearded Man says, why doesn't the engineer in Factorio just harness the unlimited energy of conveyor belts? Is he silly? That's what I'm saying. There are modifications in Factorio that require the belts to be powered. That feels so bad. You can do it. It's not my favorite way of playing, I will tell you that. But there's tons of modifications for Factorio. The whole game plan with Factorio, the way that the developers have made it so people are going to want to use their game and buy their game, is that the modding community is not just good, but awesome. The Factorio modding community is so good. And so what ends up happening is that, well, if you want access to the modifications, you gotta buy the full game. That's really what it comes down to. If you want the full game, if you want the modifications, you got to buy the full thing. And I don't want to spoil it for you folks, but the Factorio devs have absolutely cracked the code. Get me something so awesome that I can't live without it, and I will gladly buy your game. So I was going to buy their game anyway, but just in case you're wondering, sure, I'm sure you could find a cracked version online somewhere. But without access to the modding community, you are going to be a little bit sad. You're going to have just a little bit of regret. Trust me. Okay. And Lord Shadowing's in the chat. What's up, man? Well, it looks like lunch day is going to be hand-breaded chicken nugget bites with pimento cheese, mac and cheese with apple cobbler. Dude, that sounds good. That sounds great, actually. Hopefully, are you making all that, or is it just like waiting for you? Is it dinner from last night? Whatever the case, hopefully you're just having a really, really good time, because it's yeah, anytime you're getting delicious food, my life is better. That's what I've noticed anyway. Okay. Let's do this. I'm just going to make a little bit of a line here. A little bit of space for me to creep on through. Boop, boop, boop. And my spaghetti snakes are starting to be absolutely bananas. I should probably build, let's see. We're going to do chemical science. Tell you what, I'm just going to do chemical science like right here. I'm not going to leave myself any room to expand later. I got to get the science. I got to get the tech. And after I do get the science and the tech, Then I will worry about expanding later, and we're just going to remake the factory some other day. Right now, now is the time to survive. Later is going to be the time to actually, you know, thrive. So 5 chemical science plants is actually way too many for the current amount of production I have. So it's not correct, but I figure with at least 5 that I can kind of keep up with the science requirements I already have anyway. I'm building just a little bit of space for myself. I'm just moving this line out. There's a couple of different ways you can do some Factorio gaming. You can always just turtle up and build tons and tons of walls. If you're brand new to Factorio, you're probably going to want to try to rely on walls because that just makes sense to you because other games do it. But in Factorio, really the best way of defeating the enemies and preventing them from hurting you is by going out and dealing damage to them. I just don't have the ability to do that right now just because I'm not strong enough. I'm just not strong enough. It's so sad, but it's true. Someday I will be. When that day comes, it's going to be a great time, but until that time, meh. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so we're going to be supplying the sulfur and the advanced circuits into this general area. And then we do need the engine units. I suppose I could just belt them from this other place. You're going to want more than one, though. Like, for sure, you're going to want more than one. I should just bite the bullet and do a new little structure here. I will. Okay, so we're going to remove this. We're going to remove this. I probably didn't need to remove that one section for the gears. I'm going to take steel, iron gear wheels, and pipes. So this pipe box is going to do double time. I'm going to upgrade it from a gray assembler to a blue assembler, so it's actually going to go much faster. I don't want to say much faster. It's going to go a bit faster anyway. We're going to drop most of the wood. I only have a small inventory until I upgrade my belt. I'm gonna upgrade my tool belt just so I can do that a little bit more efficiently later. And then while I'm building this new structure for this new production, I'm just gonna walk over and I'm gonna hand put in these engine units. So that way we can start getting blue science. And if you look real closely, the little gears start turning, and that helps you know that we're actually building something in here, which is nice. It's nice. Factorio is a relaxing game where nothing goes wrong ever. Never, never, never. Okay, we are short on materials. I'm going to pick up 50 of my fast blue inserters, 30 of my red inserters, a couple of these other ones, the yellow ones. The only reason that you care about which inserter it is it just depends on the amount of resources you want to devote to something, and then also whether or not the speed of the arm and how fast it swings matters to you or not. Right now, it doesn't really matter to me. We have boxed ourselves into a corner here. Again, we've already recognized that. We will deal with problems later. Yeah, and we're just going to belt things right on through here. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, go here, and probably, well, how many? So I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Chemical science, it takes 2 engines. It takes 24 seconds to craft. I think that an engine takes 12 seconds to make. So clearly then 10 seconds. So basically one assembler for engines can actually supply one of these a second, basically. The ratio is not going to be exactly right, but it's going to be close enough. That's a little bit scary. That's a little bit scary. I got to go help that out. So the ratio is not going to be exactly right, but it's going to be close enough. I'm just not going to worry about it too much. What we're seeing is that the biters are attacking different parts of my base. They're starting to turn into the little velociraptors from Jurassic Park, which, if you know me, you know that I do love a good Jurassic Park conversation here and there. But they're starting to do quite a bit of that, where they're testing to find the very, very best place for them. That's okay. They were attacking here, now they're attacking here. I'm really worried when these ones start to send biters because I know that I haven't reinforced the entire east side of my base. I just haven't. So I might be knee deep in something, and I might have to just abandon whatever project I'm working on simply because I have to go save parts of my base because it'll be way, way, way worse than trying to rebuild it later. Okay, so 5 here. Let's just do 5. You know what? I'm just going to send a couple of grenades. I'm going to use the grenades to just absolutely bop that whole area. That's the most correct term, by the way. We're just gonna bop it, twist it, pull it. And I think that I only need, you know what? I think I only need one assembler doing gear wheels. Yeah, if the ratio is gonna work out, and I think it will. I think this will be the best way of doing this. And I'm using a lot of these undergrounds, but I do have the resources for that. At this point, I just want to make it work rather than worry about the cost. Okay. So we're going to be on the right side of the belt here, left side of the belt here. Together we're going to go up and over, and now I got all my materials, all my requisite materials are available now. Just got to get everything kind of plugged in. Before I do anything else, because I'm playing this Lazy Bastard run where I can't put items into my own hand, I have to just pick up things, or I have to craft them prior. It is pretty important to me that I am having the materials necessary before I need them, so that way I can literally just click and put things into a box. So I am trying to keep an eye out. You might not have me announce it, but I'm thinking to myself, do I have enough iron plates, gear wheels, green circuits at the time? I am doing quite a bit of that where I'm trying to look ahead as I'm playing the game, just to make sure that later on I don't like regret missing out on a couple of items and just slow myself down, because it does get a little bit frustrating if you have to slow down much further than you'd like to, or much longer than you'd like to. Okay, so we're getting tons of these items. Well, I wouldn't say tons. We're getting a sufficient amount of engine parts on a belt. Yeah, up and over. It's over here. This is kind of where I put it. No, it's over here. I can do the long red belt. So you got yellow belts, red belts, and blue belts. Yellow belts move items at 15 items per second. Red belts are basically twice as fast, and blue belts are then again another 15 items per second faster. Likewise, the underground belts, yellow belts can go this far. Red belts, when I do a red belt, they go just a little bit further, which is really, really nice. They can go all the way from here to there. And so the extra 2 hexes does matter, and then the blue belts will go even further. The blue undergrounds do go further. So it's actually really, really important to kind of keep an eye on that. There's some places where I wish I had a blue belt now. Like, for example, here I can't actually reach. So I'm obligated, due to the constraints of this build in this area, to go around. Alternatively, I could just make space, and I'm going to do that. Typically, if I build something, I don't ever move it like this, but I'm going to do it now because I think that three of these grenade buildings is going to be just fine. I think I'd prefer to just save the frustration more than anything. And it will slow down my science production for military later. But again, that's going to be a future fix Fox problem. That's a future fix Fox problem. Okay. Okay. Just a trickle of biters. So we are having engine parts coming all the way up to here. And remember, we've been making blue science because I hand-fed some of these engine parts up here already. In fact, let's see, they're going to be on this side of the belt. I'm going to plop down a box, and I'm going to put some additional engine parts here. I'm going to continue to build engine parts. I'm going to keep 50 in reserve, and then we're just going to have one full line. We need to get the items off. And now we got to get this blue chemical science now fed into our laboratories here. Best way of doing this is probably going to be just go right about here. Alrighty. And that's because I've already left space for the military science. So we got chemical science coming in, we got military science on the same belt. The blue and black science are going here, and then the red and the green science the logistics and production science are going up to here. With the tool belt finished now, I've got red, green, black science, and pretty soon the blue chemical science is going to start to filter into these labs. Once it does, I can now start to research advanced things that require blue science. You can see it takes red, green, and blue science to make, for example, this advanced military or advanced material processing. I'm immediately going to go into military 3 though, because again, I need the military science. That way I can potentially get into the tank. And then I'll also have access to some of the other alternatives to a grenade, like chemical grenades that'll poison my enemies. That's gonna be the play. But for now, you can see the labs slowly turn on. And when they turn on, we know that we are cooking with gas. And we just have to hope that our one single itty bitty teeny tiny pump jack will not fail us. If this thing wasn't here, none of this would be possible. We're doing this entire thing off of this one bit of oil found in the desert. As an American, that makes me sad. Okay, let's go. So let me just get caught up on chat as we're checking this out real quick. Yeah, we'll catch you later, Chris. Thanks so much. And am I gonna play Heroes of Science Fiction at any point? Oh yeah, I'm planning on it. It's just gonna take some time. We'll get there eventually. Lord Shadowwing says it's a pimento cheese macaroni salad. Oh, it's macaroni salad. Oh, still delicious. And peach cobbler, dude. Peach cobbler might be the best cobbler out of all of them. Just saying. Mammy says I have to fight someone in Pokemon in about 3 hours. They are higher skilled. So how do you beat somebody when you know that they're higher skilled, right? Because you're a smart person. You know how to like strategize and figure out your game plan so you can actually beat them. How do you strategize for somebody like that, Vammy? I'm interested to know. And oh, it's from the work lunch from the corporate cafeteria. Gotcha. Oh yeah, and yeah, Chris. Yeah, I'm planning on doing Heroes of Science Fiction in the future. I don't have any timetable, folks. I'm unfortunately possibly going to need to make an announcement in the future about long-term plans. We'll see. I'm not gonna talk about it here, but we'll see what gaming for Fix Fox looks like in the future in a little bit. Beardman says there is actually a bop in a video game with leaderboards and everything. Oh, in that case, then let's bop away. Why not just use more underground belts to keep everything tidy? Do they cost more? Yes, family. So they do cost more. Yeah, these will cost more. The cost for a normal belt is essentially 3 raw bits of iron plates, whereas an underground essentially is 17.5. So it is quite costly to use an underground belt there. 10 iron plates and 5 transport belts versus 1 iron plate and 1 iron gear wheel. So yeah, it would make sense to neatly put everything underground. It just costs so much more. And then this does make it a little bit easier to kind of like view what's going on. If I try to do this with these underground belts and then I snuck something in this way. So right now the underground's going north to south, and then this belt's trying to go from south to north. And then if I try to do this and put a belt in this way, it won't work. Like the belts have kind of run into each other because space underground is limited. So you do have some issues with undergrounds stepping on each other's toes. And then on top of that, just the cost is really the biggest thing. If resources weren't a problem at all, I can see us doing that. In other playthroughs of Factorio, what will instead typically happen is people will do a train run. They will have a ribbon world or they will have a rail world where it just makes the most sense to have trains deliver and move everything. When that happens, you're having a really interesting time, in large part because it's a different way of logistically putting things together. And that's part of the joy that a lot of people enjoy with Factorio, is that there's all these different and new ways of playing and experiencing things. There's always new things to discover and learn about. So we will see what the future brings for us. I'm going to turn this plastic production back on for a little bit. Just a little bit. I've got enough. I'm only at 55% for military science, but you can see on this graph that my production's been cut in half because I'm just not supplying the requisite materials before. I was doing better on science production, but that's because I had a surplus of items because I'd been building some of these things for a while. I've now run out of my surplus, and now I'm literally just going hand to mouth from whatever I make into science production. So I just hope I can get to military science 3, and then I'm hoping I can get into the tank. If I can get into those 2 things, I think I'm going to be okay. Okay. Alrighty, folks. In the meantime, we're gonna go exploring. Going on a mission, going on a mission. We're gonna go into the vehicle, and we gotta find more oil. There's just no way around it. You can see on the little map, red is enemy bases, iron ore patches are here, copper ore patches are here, green is trees, black is coal, and then what I'm looking for is little purple dots. And I don't see any purple dots here. Gray is stone. Green is uranium ore for nuclear production. I think, oh, there's one right here. Look, crude oil. It's in not too bad of a place either. It's not too bad, folks. All right, we're gonna go make this happen. Before I go though, let's go pick up the underground pipes that we're gonna want to use. In fact, let's just walk there because driving a car through a forest is not the best idea. Yeah, let's go grab just the materials we're gonna need here. There and there. We're just gonna grab all of this. Throw down a lamp because I like to be able to see what's happening. And then do I already have my pump jack? No, I do not. Let's make sure we have a pump jack before we get out there. We do have, again, 46 solar panels. That should be enough. I'd say should be enough. That's like, I could probably power a pump jack with like 4 solar panels. Anyway, it's going to be nice just to supplement our oil production, even at the cost of adding just a tiny bit of additional pollution. We're going to go through and up. This is really not too far. I can't believe I never found this before. There it is, folks. Right here. Yeah, nice little purple patch. So if I just mouse over and I click on this, this is going to be where we're pulling the resources from. I'm going to build a little box around this. Basically, it's going to be the same general structure up here. So I'm just going to copy, paste. I'm just going to make sure this works. I can give myself a general idea for how I want to do this. Am I gonna want to make sure that I have 3 flamethrower turrets? I've got plenty of flamethrower turrets. I purchased a bunch because I didn't want to run out later. So let's do it like this right now. And rather than use traditional power, I am going to use solar panels out here. It's just going to be a little bit easier. And you can already see it's low power. We're not powering this enough, but we're powering it a bit anyway. If I don't add a radar out here, it'll be fine. Maybe I should. I got 54 big electronic poles. You know what? I'm gonna have the 1 solar panel out here just to like keep things going. I'm gonna add the radar, which is actually gonna slow the pump jack production way down. And then let's just start to build here. We're definitely gonna run out of wall sections. We're gonna need to come back. We already knew that. Let's just start to go. Let's plan this out. So that way I don't have to worry about my plans in the future. So we go to here and let's pick up the car. It's going to be a little bit tricky to drive and place things down at the same time. So okay. Sweet. And now we're going to need to cut our way through the forest, which is actually surprisingly satisfying. Not because we're trying to cut through the forest, but it's satisfying to be able to make your man-made tech. I don't want to say be in harmony with nature, because clearly we are like moving nature out of our way. But building amongst the structures, some people at this point, they're just going to level the entire forest. And especially for us, that's really bad because we know that trees do take some amount of pollution for you. But still, it'll be really nice if we can live in harmony with nature as much as possible. That's still going to be ideal. I'm going to just make sure I have enough space here. Yeah, so let's just go to here. And actually, let's do 1 pump. I don't know if the pump is going to be necessary. Pumps just help you move fluids and to make sure that fluids don't go backwards. But this is going to be still valuable just to do it right about here. And it's going to be powered. There we go. Missed the spaceship, which is always good. You can move the space. Well, you can't move the spaceship, but you can pick it up once. Once you pick it up, though, it's gone forever. So I prefer not to lose the spaceship if I can help it. At this point, it's just a thematic, much of nothingness, but still. Okay. And then we are out of the undergrounds, which is okay. Build a couple more, but we're quickly going to be able to get some additional oil production going here. Once we do, we are going to actually satisfy a lot of the bottleneck issues we had prior. A lot of those are just going to go right away for us. Okay. Okay. Sweet. So far, not so bad. Let's hop into the car. Get the power hooked up, because right now we're just doing a tiny bit of the alternative power with the solar. Is that it? Oh my gosh, I did so nice for myself. Okay. No, there's still a little bit more power that needs to be connected, but I'm gonna hop back into the car on this side of things. Driving through trees sucks. And will that do it? Target full. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, folks. Oil should be connected all the way up to here. Yep, so this is pushing the oil on. That's putting it right into this area. We've now officially doubled our oil production. Everything else is hanging steady. By the way, we did research the military 3, so we do have access to the poison capsules, which is actually critically important there. Happy for that. And now we can move on to bigger and better things in just a moment or so. Okay, I do got to go back, get some of the wall sections, and once we do, we're going to just wait for the tank. We're going to be ready to do war against these enemy biters because they want to bring war to us, so let's make sure that we bring war to them first. It's the idea of shoot first, ask questions later, which is apparently the only reason why aliens are actually really, really scary to a lot of people. Because we don't know if aliens would be nice to us or not nice to us, but by the time that you wait around and find out, it might already be too late. Okay, let me take a quick check here. And vial regression. Let's see. I can control F oil on the map and I won't miss any. Nice. And yeah, cars do auto fuel yourself with your best fuel now. And typically I'm in the habit of manually inserting it, just because I hate it when you hop into a car for 3 seconds and it takes a full nuclear fuel. That part sucks. Like when that happens, you're having a really, really, really bad time. So, but control F on oil. Hold on. Wait, what? Control F? And then you just search for it. Okay. Oh my gosh. I did not know that. Dude, you just taught me something brand new. I love that. So it just takes you basically to this map area, and then oh, it's right here. You just search this way. But that's also useful. I mean, because I remember using this like when I was doing like a space age run, and you could search for like, you know, any random number of things. But right now, if I'm looking for like, oh my gosh, where's my engines, right? I got 5 engine unit productions right there. It helps you find it. I just didn't know it could help you find things on the neutral map, like oil or coal. What happens if I hit trees? Does it do anything? Trees? Nope, it doesn't let me find trees. Okay, still. Probably really, really useful on Volcanus, or actually probably super useful on Gleba. Yeah, probably super useful on Gleba to just find all the stuff you want. So vial regression, thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. That's a great tip. Yeah, I love so very, very much the Factorio devs. They are not just good, but great. And the amount of work and polish, if I haven't said it before, folks, Factorio is the most polished game that I have ever played in my life. And I'm so very, very grateful for it. My life is better because of Factorio, that's for sure. Okay, what was I here for? I was here for walls. Yep, 300 walls, that'll do. I don't know if I want 300 extra walls in the future, but I gotta get this. Tanks at 31%, 13 science a minute. It's pretty bad, but again, on Deathworld Lazy Bastard run, we definitely want to make sure that we're not doing too much pollution. In fact, I might have already done too much pollution. And that's actually one of the funnest challenge, folks. If you're interested to know, one of the funnest challenges in Factorio is to have a base that is completely overrun with biters, and then you find a way to bring it back to life. Now, that's fun in normal playthrough. In Deathworld, not as much fun, but it'll still work. It'll still work. Okay. Well, I am so happy with this one additional patch of oil. You have no idea. Like, literally doubling our oil production is not a small thing whatsoever. So let's just check this out real quick. Let's see. Last hour, that was just pump jacks. I'm just looking for oil. So let's go to fluids. Yeah, so we were pumping like what, 57 minutes ago, 505 per. So 839, and now we're up to 2.2K. Perfect. All right. Yeah, more than doubled our oil production, which is just for the crude oil pretty important, because we do have the 5 oil refineries. We haven't even clicked on 3 of them, but eventually that's going to be important. In fact, now that I think about it, they're just kind of drawing some basic power. I should probably just put those in my hand so that way they're not drawing power just by being in the on position. 434 kilowatt hours per. I'll leave them on. I'll leave them on just in case. Okay. And in fact, yeah, I think we're actually good. It's time. I did not think that this would happen, but I'm actually going to finally throw down a storage tank, just so that way I have a little bit of extra petroleum when I need it. We will set up cracking here. I use the Nilos build for cracking in general, but eventually we're going to get maybe a little bit further into like lubricants and some of the other important necessary things. Okay, so we're turning plastic back on because I can tell that we're definitely out of plastic. We got 100 bars in my hand. You don't really need plastic in your hand for much of anything, so let's just put this in. I'll keep 28 bars, sure. And this will just be enough to keep the reds going. That's probably where tank is going to stall in production. Okay, so let's think. Let's be smart about this. We've got military 3. I do want to start getting a healthy amount of poison capsules. I don't really think that the slowdown capsules are particularly useful, but poison capsules, I will gladly take a whole stack of those. Because those with the tank, plus flamethrower ammo. I don't typically use cannon shells. I probably should, but with those, then you're doing quite a bit better. Okay, yeah, red production's fine here. Anything else we need? No. It's only 5 chemical science packs, but it's giving us a trickle anyway. Okay, anyway. Bearded man, no beating the stereotypes with my reaction to oil. As an American, finding that one little patch of oil in the desert, I'm like, oh yes. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I'm an American. I'm not the one. Never mind. Okay, I'm gonna try and stay out of trouble. Steeson says, hey, what's up, Steeson? Dude, I have not talked to you in forever. Steeson, how the heck are you, dude? Always a pleasure to see you, Steeson. One of my favorite people. Steeson says, I thought you were playing Horse Game 2 instead. Instead, I find you horsing around Factorio, a game I've never tried. Can't find the time to learn. You know, that is actually a real problem, folks. Like, I don't know about you, and maybe Steeson can tell me, and maybe everybody else can tell me, but I'm at the stage in my life where I don't have time to learn new games. Like, I just don't. And that feels so bad because there's so many good new games out there. I literally just don't have the time to learn them. Because, okay, I'm just going to use the example of Olden Era, for example. Olden Era is fun. I've been enjoying it. But also, I realize I'm going to need like another couple 100 hours to actually be good at it. I don't have a couple extra 100 hours. Do you know what other stuff I could do with an extra couple 100 hours? And the answer is tons of stuff. I could do tons of extra stuff with a couple 100 extra hours. And so because I already have great games, I don't know if I really need to learn a lot of new extra games. It's actually part of the reason why the Heroes of Science and Fiction, which Chris was talking about earlier, is actually pretty nice because yeah, it's a new game, but it's still a game that was pretty easy to pick up. And I don't know, maybe I'm just at that stage of my life where it's just better for me to pick up new games or pick up old games because the new games just take too long to learn. It's a curse. Maybe if I had unlimited time, maybe things would be a little bit different. Okay, So we're up to 11 of these poison capsules. I'm just going to put them over here so that way I don't forget about them. I'm actually going to move this. So we got information here. I'm going to move the firearm magazines. I'll keep them on the quick bar just in case I want to fill up a turret. Like on the fly, if I'm going to do like a turret push. I was doing turret pushes earlier in the game, but I'm just not going to do that anymore. And folks, I think it's time. We can wait for the tank, or we can start to drive out there with the car. I will tell you that while I typically don't use saves in like Heroes Might and Magic and stuff, I absolutely do not mind using saves in Factorio, because the game is not about combat. The game is about everything else. It's about the base building and the other fun parts that come with it. So it does not hurt my feelings to use a save when I'm just fighting biters. Let's make sure we got plenty of ammunition in here. I don't anticipate that we're going to die. The only problem is that we're doing this at night, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to see. Oh, like I just said. All right, I'm gonna let you all enjoy my demise. Thick Fox, what happened? We hit a rock. A rock, you say? Yeah, we hit a rock. And that's why we save. Can you imagine how devastated I would be if I lost the last 20, 30 minutes of my play just because I hit a rock? Psh. But yeah, that's part of the reason why it's actually not a bad idea to wait until morning to launch an attack. This doesn't matter. It's not like critically important, but yeah. Anyway, all right. So the poison capsules should help thin out the worms, which is great. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to kill a few of these. We've got the enemies at the other base to like us. I'm going to try and do... The base is just going to be too big. We're just going to keep hitting rocks because I'm being silly. I guess I could try and push with flamethrowers. I mean, that would... I mean, it's actually doing pretty good work. So I could poison... Let's see. I could poison. I want to make this work with this tech before we get to the tank, because once we get into the tank, the game is going to change entirely, and you'll see why. But for now, let's do it this way. Let's try our very, very best to just make this work. Okay, so here, and here, and there's a rock. No, it's a tree. Now we're dead. Okay. And the funny thing is, we're not like dead. We're just not alive. Okay. We'll keep our speed up, so this way we're not gonna, if we do hit just a tree you can run over. A rock in a car is just not gonna do so well for you. Let's just be so very careful. I cannot drive and look out for rocks at the same time. Okay. Okay, and that's enough poison that should... Ah! What was I just saying? You know what? We've got enough. We got enough. We got another car. It'll be fine. We did lose 97 bits of red ammunition. That feels horrible, but... But if that's the worst thing that happens to me, it'll be fine. Okay, am I sure I want to push this base at this point? I don't think you're actually... Hold on, I'm doing some thinking. I'm not actually fighting this. Because you kill all the worms, you're still going to have a lot of other stuff. If you do throw down just like a little bit of fire, until the biters get into blue, giant biters, fire's still going to be super effective against them. I mean, it's always going to be effective against them. What if I just kill the worms now? What if I kill the worms now and then I do wait for the tank? I mean, we're at 65%. We're at 65%. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Who knows though? We might get to like 95% on the tank, and then we might just like run out of material necessary to continue the research. And if that happens, like there's just nothing you can do. You just kind of lose. But yeah, that might just be the way. Okay, they're gonna keep following me. And dead. Okay. Alrighty. The ability to push with just a car in this situation is just not, it's just not working for me. On a normal playthrough, and it's not Deathworld, the bases are not so thick, and so you can actually do you can actually fight a little bit earlier, a little bit easier. And we've already had to clear out on this playthrough tons of nests, like 4 or 5 huge nests, like this size or better. But the problem is that the longer the game goes, the more that the biters evolve too. So, oh, I'm sorry. Did you not like fire? That's so sad. Oh, Muffin, it's so hard being you. Okay, 66%. We're getting there. I'll just wait for the tank. In the meantime, then we're going to figure out what other ways we can like make the base better, so that way we don't have problems in the future. And that's actually not a bad way of doing things. Also, let's get caught up on chat. Pumps work differently in 2.0. I know that there was some changes via regression. There was some changes to fluid calculations and stuff, because fluid calculations used to be the big throttle on mega base status. Like that was the reason why to save UPS per second you went to solar. But like I never figured out what exactly the change was. I think that you're specifically talking about fluid changes specifically because of the pumps. In fact, now I think that the way it works is that I'm now bottlenecking myself by 1200 units per second because of the pump. I think that that's actually what's happening here. It used to be you had to use pumps occasionally, just like keep the fluids going. I think that you're right. I don't know the situation. So I wish I knew more. But in the meantime, I'm still enjoying the crap out of Factorio, because we always do. And yep, Steve, we'll see you later. Every UI element has a search. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. I do enjoy that. 3 of those refineries don't have an output, so they're only pulling idle power, which is very low. Yeah, and it is. I mean, because they're just staying here. The idea was to have a little bit here and a little bit here, because, well, clearly we were running through our petroleum, and I wanted to make sure that we had some dedicated consumption, because with, I don't know, I tend to find that if my limiting factor is a fluid like petroleum or whatever, it's kind of difficult for me to get it in the right place. There's probably a better way of doing it than what I'm doing, but ideally what I would do is I would cut the production here, right? And I would just dedicate these 3 oil refineries to that. So if we're talking about this right now, let's just do that. Oil capsule damage stacks. I don't think I knew that. Did it always work that way, or was it did it always stack, or is it just something brand new? Every 320 tiles you need a pump. The line goes red when you need them. 1 pump will throttle you at 1200, but you're nowhere near that limit. Click a pipe and it tells you XXX out of 320. Okay, thank you. I'm learning some new stuff here. I like that. I knew that they would turn red at some point. I don't think I don't know. Old habits die hard, maybe? No, I think I just need to be a better, faster, wiser Factorio player. I think that's what it really comes down to. And I mean, there's still so much of the game. I've got about 2,000 hours in Factorio, and I still feel all the time like I'm learning. That's maybe just like the best way of feeling. I'm always grateful that there's just more to explore with this great game. There we go. Okay. Quality control is still working out well. I'm just going to assume that we're going to outlast these biters. 80%. Look at this. Look at the chunks. Look how close this was. If the enemies were fighting us, we would have done just fine. Like, this base is well supplied. I'm still just so scared. This one's doing okay. We talked about using efficiency modules at some point. I don't know. Do I need to get into cracking yet? Clearly not. We need to get into advanced oil processing in order to make that necessary, but I'd like to soon. Since we have such limited oil reserves, I'd like to make the most out of my oil processing as possible. But that's going to be our next build. Other things, rockets, Modular armor. If I can get into bots, everything just becomes so much easier. I'm not going to waste time on mining productivity at the moment. What are my patches looking like? 142k iron, 329 ore. Coal is fine, 279. Stone is fine. So we really are keeping everything on just the smallest build possible. I don't know. It's a weird combination to do Lazy Bastard and Deathworld. Okay. But we're at 85%, so another 3 minutes we'll have that. So future production. What's the bottleneck here? This is all working just fine. This is even working fine. I'm going to steal a couple of these red circuits so we can do just a few efficiency modules. Oop. And eventually I'll bring red circuits on my main bus. Well, it's not even a bus, just this initial ball type situation. Eventually I will, but that's a long time away. And actually, like I've been saying, I think that at some point we're just gonna have to restart this whole base because it's so spaghetti and it's so messed up. And what I'd really like to do is if I can clear out into this area, I think that then I want to rush into nuclear, because if I can get into Kovarex and then I can get a steady supply of nuclear bombs, then I can potentially actually clear out the bases as they get just way too big. This is a problem. That's a problem. I am so glad we just saw that. Folks, in case you didn't notice, I've said that in the past I don't have a lot of sections on the east side. I don't have like a lot of defenses. And the problem with that is that now that the pollution has reached these biters on the eastern side, that actually is a problem. Because they will come probably up there. Probably straight for my power plant first. Yeah, it is surrounded by trees, and that's why it stayed so long. If this was all desert tile, we would have been sunk so long ago. I'm just gonna plop this down, and when the sun comes back up, maybe we'll get a little bit more information about that area. In fact, believe it or not, I actually want to clear that base out before I want to clear out the base to the west, because the western base, I've already got defenses that clearly are sufficient. They're clearly going to hold. But on the eastern side, not so much. Oh my gosh. Never again. Okay. So 96%. What do we need for the tank? We're going to need engine parts for sure. No doubt about that. We're going to need... What else does the tank take? No? Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Let's start prepping for the tank. Where's the tank? There it is. Does the Factoriopedia not tell you what it takes? There it is. So 50 steel plates, the green wheels, advanced circuits, greens. Okay, so we've actually got pretty much everything that we're going to need. That's not going to be too much of a problem. In fact, we can build one right now. I just got to put it into an assembler. I guess with the Lazy Bastard run, it's actually kind of nice that... hold on. Didn't you say I could make one? What happened? I thought I just said I could make one a second ago. Oh, it was going to try to craft 10 advanced circuits. Gotcha. No, we're not going to do that. But eventually when we get into quality, it's going to be really easy since we got to build everything anyway. We're probably going to get a lot of extra quality that we weren't typically planning on having. Love to get into rocket fuel. Just using coal for a tank, it's not going to be particularly good. I'm going to spend just a second before we go out and do some damage to the enemies. I'm going to spend just a second, and we're going to go get some solid fuel. Solid fuel is going to make our tank go much better. And then we're going to head on to the north. Okay. Solid fuel here. How much? I don't know, but at least a little bit. So with the fuels, Bioregression was mentioning earlier about fuel. So your vehicle, if I put down the car and if I just hop in, then it's going to put in the best fuel possible as I start to move. Right now it says no fuel, and then as I start to move forward, it's going to put in the solid fuel. Otherwise, if you put in coal, then it's just going to eat coal. And so I'm going to use coal just to get out there, and then once we get out there, we're going to just save the solid fuel. It's not really going to matter. Like it's the smallest little thing, folks. It's the smallest little thing, but it's a habit I've built up over time using the most appropriate fuel for the given situation. only because and only when it matters for nuclear fuel, because nuclear fuel is just a little bit of a bear to get in late game. Okay, so tank is going to go up here. So we got 2 cars, 1 tank. We're using the solid fuel right now, and we're going to make sure we have just the best materials here. And this base, for the first time, folks, we actually are going to win this arms race. The tank can run over trees, rocks, and all sorts of things. It can slow down. You can lose with the tank. There's no guarantees that this is going to go well, and I haven't even saved. But I'm very confident in my ability to get through this whole base in just a second. Also, nice with the tank, you can just run over stuff. We're gonna wait for the poison cloud to do its work. Looks like we killed all of the... Yeah, it looks like we killed all the worms just now. Okay. And let's kill as many of these nests as possible. We're gonna keep the poison cloud down. That's gonna help deal with the little biters, the little spitters. Every now and again, we're gonna use the flamethrower to just bop whoever's behind us. By the way, poison does kill trees, which is kind of interesting. And I remember back in the day, the tank would run over buildings without much penalty cost, like to your health. And now it's actually a pretty significant amount. So every time we run over a biter nest, it does actually take a healthy chunk out of us. But as far as being effective and just like killing enemies, I think you actually save a lot more HP over time if you spend part of your HP and then later come back and then just kill with guns and stuff. Okay. Tank is getting dangerously low. We're at like, I don't know, less than an eighth. Sixteenth of our HP, and we did it. Okay. Now, how much easier was that? So I don't play Factorio again. I don't play Factorio for the combat. Like, fighting biters is not the reason I play, but it is satisfying when you actually get to the point where they just can't deal with you. So we do have 74 grenades left. Probably want to use those a bit more in the next fight, because eventually grenades really do get outclassed by just other opportunities. But that takes out one full worry there, so we're gonna clear this. This is fine. Heck, there's red ammunition over there. I'm gonna go up to this base over here. I'm just gonna make a couple more of these poison capsules. I used more than I probably should have, but it was just so fun. It worked so well. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have just 4 because then I'm gonna run out of coal. So I'm gonna use these 4 sparingly. I'm gonna use 1. I'm gonna probably use 2 or 3 here. I'm probably just gonna use 1 here. Yeah, I'll probably just use 1 right there and just hope it covers most of the base. And then we'll figure out where to go from there. Let's go kill 1 base and we'll come back. Now it's time for a save. Last time I was very, very confident that we weren't going to die. Man, that moment that you do accidentally die, though, just about the worst thing. Right about there. Is that going to do it? Oh, no. I'm surrounded. Oh, and they're up to medium worms. Oh, no, they're small worms still. I thought that we killed 1 base, and it picked us all the way up to medium worms. I just about went crazy. Oh, look, and we have pissed off the neighbors to the northeast. Crazy. Okay. Actually wild. So really, the tech and the amount of research we've done could not have come in a better time. Literally could not have come in a better time. Okay, that'll do it. We did just finish up the advanced oil processing. I'm not too sure what our next thing should be. Rocket fuel would be nice to make sure that our tank doesn't get slowed down. It's so expensive though. It takes 300 of the red, green, and the blue sciences. That's just too expensive at the moment. That's just too expensive. Lubricant is cheap, but I mean, it's important to get into bots. And we talked about kind of rushing into bots. Tell you what, let's just try to rush into bots as best as we can. Because once we get into the bots, the game does open back up in a really, really nice way. Okay, so we're back for our poison capsules. That only took about 800 HP. That's only about, what, 5 or 6 seconds to repair. Maybe 2 repair packs. We are out of ammunition, basically. I'm just gonna kill the space with grenades. If I get into trouble, I've got the nearby base that'll just help me out. If I get into trouble, it'll be fine, folks. It'll be fine. We got so many poison capsules. It'll be fine. And you go squish. And I'm actually gonna save the other poison capsule here just for later, just in case. Okay. Alrighty. There's one big worm I need to take care of. The AoE damage is nice. It does kill the little spitters in one go, which is always good. Okay. Yeah, we just don't have the material to actually defeat these guys. We're gonna have to just continue to take out some of these edge case nests. Probably go repair. And I'll just be happy knowing that we did something anyway. We're trimming this back, right? If this is like a garden, we're just keeping the weeds down is what we're doing at the moment. Okay, that's close enough. I don't feel the need to play so dangerously. We'll come back in just a second. Yellow. If I was smart, I would have little gate sections that would let me through. I'm not. Well, no, I just haven't taken the time to research those yet, but eventually I will. Not today, but someday. Okay. Let's go do it again. We are the human battering ram. Unstoppable. Despite having very little of any other ammo, it's still going to be enough. Holy kittens, look at all you guys. Where'd you all come from? Holy cow. When the spitters spit, they do leave a poison trail. So if it looks like I'm going slow, it's because I am. And no, it's not good. And there's not really a great way of dealing with it. You just kind of got to wait for it to expire. Every time you hit it, it'll slow you down. You'll take a little bit of damage. And the damage will scale if the biters get too much bigger. Medium biters and the behemoth biters are really tough on your vehicles. But the idea is that eventually you're going to have like Spidertrons and other things that can deal with them. The tank is really the mid-game power, but they nerfed it quite a bit. It's not nearly as good as it once was. But still, the fact that now we can clear out stuff at all is great. Just know that there's another option after all this is said and done. So one thing has happened that's pretty important. This wasn't here. This little base here was not here a while ago. That means that the biters are expanding. Biters expand because the game wouldn't be fun if you cleared them out once and then you never had to deal with anything again, right? So it is a really cool mechanic that biters expand, but that means that you have to figure out a way to deal with them long term, and you do have to make sure that you eventually come back and deal with stuff. So this is a really, really small nest. We're just gonna clear this out now because waiting until it gets bigger is just not gonna do it for me. Again, keep the weeds down. Okay. And we're gonna head back into the base. We're gonna get some additional poison capsules, maybe even a couple of these additional grenades. The grenades worked. They worked. We'll do that in a second. And look at this. So we've run out of coal. We've run out of the solid fuel, and now we're literally driving with wood to get all the way back. Since that's the case, Let's just drive using the car. It's a little bit faster than the tank is anyway. And I won't feel so bad about just burning wood. Yeah, okay. It's the most Doc Brown thing from Back to the Future you ever saw. Like, that just seems like something Doc Brown would do. It's like, hey, look, Marty, I have a tank. And the tank runs on wood. And Marty's just like, oh, geez, man. Okay, all of a sudden that turned from Doc Brown and Back to the Future into Rick and Morty, which is actually funny because Rick and Morty was originally based off of Back to the Future in a way. So, yeah. I didn't realize that until I said that, but there you have it. Let's see. I don't like unrepaired stuff in my inventory. I just don't. I'm gonna pick up all this coal. Start making a couple more of these capsules. Okay. So we're just gonna let that work. I do have some additional red ammo over here for me. Do I have it in a box anywhere? I think I do. Over here by my military science? Yeah, okay. How much should I put aside? Only 100 units? What am I, crazy? Okay, alrighty. Alright, in that case. 75 grenades, 100 rounds of red ammo. Just to have it in the future, it's actually going to be pretty nice to have a box with yellow ammo, because you never know when you just want to fill up one of your gun turrets. What else do I need? I got belts, I got undergrounds. Everything's fine. Underground pipes, I could use more, but it'll probably be okay. Iron, steel, copper, gear wheels. Don't have any greens. I don't have any green circuits. Just surprising. Red circuits are low, but I'm not really setting those aside. That's all pretty much just going to production. Okay, and this seems like it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna go up to an assembler 2 on my ammo production there. Okay, and we were waiting for these to be done. So 14 poison capsules, yeah, that'll be plenty. We're gonna at least secure our starting area, folks. And then we're just going to be very, very cautious about expanding too recklessly. Look at these guys. They're thinking about it. They are totally thinking about it. But yeah, let's go kill here. And then this one's probably fine. Let's go kill this one. Maybe this one's tough because it's right next to this big one. Here. Let's get these 2. And then we'll work on these other ones. And then we're probably going to feel okay about our life choices. One thing we didn't do, we didn't go pick up more solid fuel. Let's just grab that real quick. Electric engines, let's get into batteries into bots, at least frames anyway. And then eventually we'll get into yellow science. I definitely care more about construction bots than logistics bots at the moment. We don't even have modular armor, so the bots can stay in our inventory, fly around, and help us build. So we won't worry about that yet. I am so happy with this tiniest little trickle of red circuits. This has been just fine for me. However, I'm keeping up the production so well that I would actually like to adjust this before we go too much further. I would really like to adjust this. Oh, and I need to adjust this like immediately. So let's do this right now. Let's cut oil production. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, and we're just gonna go into advanced oil processing. This shouldn't take too long. Famous last words. As the biters are knocking down my gate, famous last words. Oh yeah, this will be fine. Pro tip, it wasn't. Do I care if I just go out to here? I don't think I do. I think it's fine. Sometimes I'll do undergrounds just that short distance. They're very costly, but I'll do it sometimes just because it makes things a little bit neater. I'm not going to worry about neat right now. Okay. Okay, and now when you add water with the crude oil for the advanced oil processing, now you get some additional materials. You don't just get the petroleum gas, you also get the light oil, you also get the heavy oil. and that suits me just fine. What I typically like to do is I like to make sure everything is into storage tanks. I'm gonna need one more storage tank, and then I'm also gonna want to make sure I have, well, I'll just go collect what I really wanted. I'm gonna go collect the piping I need. That's enough for now. On the petroleum, 53 units of the solid fuel is okay. No. No. When you put down paths like this, it actually makes it much faster to walk. Like surprisingly much faster. Concrete's the fastest. Stone paths are not too bad. But you compare that to that, and it does make a big difference over the course of the game. Okay, so we got our piping where we needs to go. I think typically I like to have all my tanks on one side due to cracking concerns. It just makes it easier to put stuff later for cracking. How much do I care? I think I care. I do think I care. I'm building everything so close. Just for space, I'm gonna start putting everything up here. I was so worried about the biters that I didn't do any of this correctly at all. Did not do any of this correctly at all. My goodness. Because if you don't leave yourself space, what you do to yourself is you put yourself in a position where trying to expand just a little bit feels so very, very bad. And we keep saying like, oh, we're just going to remake everything later anyway. I keep saying that, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be true. Like eventually, yeah, eventually we're going to redo everything, but in the meantime, there's just going to be tons and tons of struggle. You're just going to do 1,000 units into the storage tank. That should be fine. Where are you? Okay. Enemies to the south. They're probably going to run into another turret. Did they actually kill that gun turret? They did. Okay. Yeah, and that's what happened. They ran into another gun turret. But since this one couldn't defend itself because it was out of material, it just went down. Weird to use red ammo here, but if they're going to keep attacking us, okay. Battery's just about completed. I think I got enough material to get additional chemical plants. Anything else I'm going to need for cracking? I think. Don't want 4. Probably just want 3. Three pipes out. Because if I do too much more than that, it just potentially prevents beacons being put in later. Doesn't feel good. I'm gonna do it like this. And now typically you don't need heavy oil at all. I'm literally going to set this so that heavy oil is like, I want like 500 on hand at any given time. You don't really need heavy oil for pretty much anything. Pretty much anything. In fact, on Fulgora, it's all around you and you just need to use it to crack down to other stuff. And you turn the heavy oil into light oil into petroleum, etc., etc. Heavy oil does go into lubricant, which we do have a little bit of. Gonna need to bring the water up so we can make that happen. But I'm just gonna keep a little bit on hand just in case. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting some reason to keep it. And then how much of this do I want to? Probably want full lines. Probably takes 8 to 10. 8 to 10 chemical plants to crack everything from heavy to light, light to petroleum. TikTok's wife says, ah, good old Factorio. It takes me back to the COVID days. You got it. Anything I need grocery wise? No, sweetie pie. I think we're all good. I think we are good. Is what I typed, and then I'm secretly going to type gummy bears. I'll type it. I'll see. I don't expect my wife to get me gummy bears. I'm a man. I'm an adult. I can go get my own darn gummy bears. In fact, that's the best part about being an adult, is that if you want to go to Costco and get a whole sheet cake just for yourself, you can do that. Like, nobody's going to stop you, man. At least, okay, folks, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you. Alrighty. Let's do it like this. If we're taking this petroleum into this area, I'm just going to start cracking the light into the petroleum, and I'm going to start cracking a little bit of the heavy into the light. It's not necessary to build it in this direction. Typically I try to build everything in a square over here, but just to make sure I have plenty of room for later builds and later stuff, I'm going to build to this northern area instead of to like the southwest, just to make sure I got enough room. We do need way more of these chemical plants. Yeah, need plenty more. Let's just go 5. I never figured out the ratio for chemical plants and cracking. I just know that if I need more, I need more. Let's do it. Let's do it this way. Okay. So what we're doing is we're doing light oil cracking to petroleum gas. And that is going to require not only the oil, but also the water. Okay. Okay. And what I'm doing there is I'm changing the inputs and the outputs. One of the nicest things with the updated version of Factorio is that you can update some of this stuff to where things can just get moved around. Before, you were really at the mercy of wherever the devs just had these inputs and outputs. Wherever those were, that's just kind of what you had to deal with. And then they made the nice change where I could just make some adjustments. Really nice. All hail the Factorio devs. I do want to make sure I have, I don't like this. I guess I'll do this, just that way I have some underground space I can walk through. In fact, I'll do this too. Okay, interesting. They must have just walked into me to try and expand. I don't think that they were actually trying to kill me. Doesn't seem like they did that on purpose. Okay, gotta get water up here. Yeah, and one water pipe, like this is the same water pipe I've had basically this entire time, and it's supplying all of this and some of this. No, it's the second one. Okay, good. Yeah, so the water is going here for these boilers, and then this one pump up here is supplying all my water needs for 5 bits of cracking, 5 bits of cracking here, and for the 5 advanced oil processing. You don't need all that much. It really works out just fine. So let's bring this up to there. Move this south just a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then the best thing to do here is going to be to do this. So I'm saying I want at least 1,000 units of light oil in the storage tank, and then I'm only going to turn on this pump up here if I want a little bit more space. I don't like this boxy area. Yeah, eventually I'm going to get the jetpack. It's not going to matter. Okay, all right, you convinced me. And I'm gonna do this one right here. So basically, it's the same basic thing here. This pump only works if this is less than 1,000, except now I'm gonna change it from that to more than 1,000. And then I'm gonna say only if there's more than 2,000 units of light oil. If there's 2,000 units of light oil in here, then that means that I will crack it. it'll turn it into petroleum. So that way I'm always going to have between 1,000 and 2,000 units of this light oil, assuming everything else goes well. Okay, so there's a couple of these. We do have to, what's happening now is we're backed up on heavy oil. So we got too much petroleum, too much heavy oil. We're doing something with the light oil where we're turning it into some other things. Now we got to do the same basic thing over here with the heavy oil. Okay. Heavy oil though, let's do it like this. I don't think you need, I think you only need 1 or 2 lubricants. You probably need 2, don't you? I'll bet you need 2. It's just been a while since I did lubricant. I'll bet you that 2 will be fine and we'll just crack the rest. Okay. And so then the only issue is that we're a little too close here. Right about there. So I can give you enough room? Totally. Okay. Alrighty, so then I can tell you already that we're gonna need additional pipes. Didn't get enough, my bad. We're gonna do the same basic thing right here that we did with the light oil. Because again, we're gonna wanna have more than, it's not that much though, more than 750? There's more than 750 heavy oil, like, well, do you really need, I mean, this is, the thing with heavy oil is that you got to make it as a byproduct anyway. So I don't think that this pump is even necessary now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, it's not even really necessary because it's just clogging up all the other stuff I wanted to do. Okay, all right. We're working our way through. But this one, yeah, when there's more than 750 heavy oil here, we do want to crack it down into other stuff. Let's see, 3. I'll just leave the space. Okay, water, heavy, that'll do. Okay. And then I just gotta get the water hooked up and then we're all good to go. Neat. Yeah, it's not as clean as Nilaus's designs, but it's very functional. And I don't know about you folks, but I care a little bit more about functional than I care about pretty much anything else in this game. Like, if it looks stupid but it works, it's not stupid. That's like the general way I do it. I'm probably gonna need to add more to this heavy cracking later. Right now, is there anything that we are too full on? So we're too full on the petroleum. I'm so confused. Oh, it's because, oh, that's why. I didn't actually have it going back into this big tank here. And so now everything's working. And my minor little detour just took like 10 minutes and we went from no oil processing, no oil cracking up to this. That's not too bad. I've seen worse. How about that? Okay. And I'm just gonna make sure there's a little bit of defense here just in case something bad happens, which nothing bad ever happens in Factorio. Never, never. While I'm thinking about it, let's just do this here as well. And let's hope that the biters don't just bypass this little area here and just like slip right through. As long as I protect the really, really valuable oil refineries, I'll feel okay. All right. What's the problem here? So you're saying you got too much light oil. What's your problem? Yeah, I don't know why I put these in here. These aren't actually necessary. Like, if you have light oil to process, like, use it. That's like the situation. I don't know why I put pumps on this side. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Because you want to make sure that excess material flows into the holding tanks. And then from there, you want to control how much oil is on hand whenever I need light oil, for example. Like I don't want to spend my light oil and turn it into petroleum if I don't need petroleum, or if I don't have too much light oil. But that doesn't mean that you don't put all of your other processing in some other way. So all right, this is fine, this is okay. This is actually, these are a really good candidate. These are a really good candidate for once you get into other modules. A couple of efficiency modules would be kind of nice there. So, okay. Alrighty. All right, next thing. And meanwhile, isn't it great that we built up an automated factory where we didn't have to deal with everything until this current juncture? Like we can just kind of leave everything alone while we're working on the next thing. I don't really need speed. I'll go for logistics just because it's annoying if you need them or want them and don't have them. I can start making roboports, construction bots, flying robot frames. There's a lot going on here, folks, but we are climbing the mountain. We are getting somewhere. That's how Factorio works, though. Just gotta get somewhere. I am gonna get one holding tank worth of lubricant. Now this is definitely where I want to have a pump, because I want to make sure that the pump, I'll do it right there. I want to make sure that the pump, I don't want to have too much lubricant. Let's just say when lubricant is less than, let's call it 1,000. 1,000's not too bad of a number. When lubricant's less than 1,000, these will work, and when it doesn't need that, it's going to get backed up, and then the rest of the excess heavy oil is going to get processed. Okay, perfect. So that's good, but we're eventually going to need that lubricant for robot parts. I've got to do more with this. This is like embarrassing how little red circuits I have. Like I was just saying a minute ago, oh, I'm so proud of this. Look how cute it is. Look at my little production line. It's not cute anymore. It's not good enough. I'm probably going to build it this way. I'm probably going to build vertical into this area. So let's just cut production for a second. Yeah, let's just cut production for a second. I'll let these finish. And then this might stay. I'm probably gonna move this whole line here with the sulfur down. I'm just gonna move this over here. It's fine. Because we don't have a lot of room horizontally, but we still want to get pretty good production. Let's just go vertical. And now I don't think I can slip. Let me think about this. Can I slip 2 builds in here? 1, 2. I don't think I can fit. I don't think I can fit enough in here. That would be a disaster. Unless it's right. Unless it's right there. So I could do down the center, and that can go as far north as I wanted to. It's not quite what I had in mind. I could always build more here. I could just do down the center. Yeah, you'd have to move that back one. And then you have just a little bit of room for an exit. So then you have all the central production, then you have one exit line over there. Yeah, but if that's the case, I want one more section. I mean, I could move all this out and just make a little bit more space. This is easily moved. This part, not so much. No, I can move that part. Yeah, that'd be fine. I can do that. Yeah, that's easy. Okay. Okay, all right, we're gonna do it this way. And then this way I can use long-handed inserters. But I give myself, yeah, I can do long-handed inserters here. I'll still have space. Hold on. Why am I having trouble with this? There we go. Then H to flip. Okay. I'll get rid of one of these. I'll just move this whole thing over a little bit. This is so not good. This is not correct. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay. So I'm just going to rethink getting all this in together, but I'll figure that out in a second or so. Here. Aha. Hey there. You there. I see you over there. How many more of these do I want? Probably want to go as many as I can at the moment. And so that's going to determine how far up this goes. For now, I'm just going to do it like this. Later, I'll figure out something else to do. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I just want to make sure I have enough production. I don't know how many. Let's see. 5 seconds for a green, and you're gonna need 2. I don't know. 1 green circuit could probably supply the whole thing. We're not gonna mess with this too much. It might be fine. Might be fine. Then this will go up, down, and then we're gonna need to get copper on this other side. It's 4 copper cables. The problem is it's compressed or it's not compressed, and so actually this should be a red belt. It's going to supply all of this with just copper wiring. It'll be fine. Don't let good be the enemy of best. Right now we're just trying to. Right now this is literally going to do this. What, going to triple, quadruple my output? It's going to be fine once all things are said and done. Oh my gosh, did I build this one too far? I did build this all one too far. Oh my goodness. How embarrassing. Well, let's start again. Yeah, I built this all one step too far out. So actually I cleared out more space than I needed to, which is actually not a bad problem to have. Of all the problems in the world to have, that is maybe my favorite. Oh no, my lobster is too buttery and my steak is too juicy. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I did it over here too. Oh my goodness. Holy cow, how did I mess this up so bad? I swear I know how to play this game. Like, I swear I do. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, it's wild. That's fine. I'm not going to use the filters, but I could. Okay, all right. Now there's actually even more space than I thought I had before. Need to take a quick break and just check out chat. Manny MM. Hey there, Mr. Fox. Long time no see, except for the YouTube, of course. Manny, how are you doing? I hope you're doing so very, very well. Hey, I just want to make sure that you know, in case I haven't said it recently, I'm a huge fan of you, and I'm a huge fan of your dear sweetheart. I hope you're doing so very, very well. I don't want to spread your business around to other people. It's none of my business to tell other people your business, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited for 7 days. 7 days from now, dude, I'm very excited for you. And I don't have a better way of saying this other than a lot of love, a lot of appreciation for you. I hope that the preparations are going well. I hope that your stress levels are very, very low. And dude, I'm excited for you. So hope you're doing great, man. It's so good seeing you. Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm not playing some Heroes of Might and Magic. This Factorio game might not be your favorite thing in the world if you've never seen it before, but I'm having a lot of fun with it right now. More of a chill day. Yes, we're just doing some chill, spending time building random stuff. Because if you don't build random stuff, how do you know if you're gonna find the best stuff? We didn't need to move this over, remember? It looks like anyway. So now I'm regretting that. Actually, it looks like we did need to move it over a tiny bit. I'm not gonna regret that too much. Boom. So the water's good. I'm just going to direct insert that here. A little expensive on the pipage, but not too bad, not too bad. And I'm going to do this weird, gross thing. Ugh, I hate it, but it'll work so very, very well. Let's do that. Okay, and then remember, all of this, folks, everything we've been doing here is literally just for this one upgrade, which is going to be pretty important. I've just got to get the copper on this one side, and then I'll consider about using these fast transport belts to increase how efficient I am with this. I said that, and then I just did it already. Do I need additional assemblers for copper? Probably. Let's just do this, and then we'll go here. Like that. I don't know. I'm going to assume that this one green assembler is going to handle all this for now. Maybe that's not true, but hopefully it is. Hopefully it's enough. Here we go. Bada bing, bada boom, and that's not going to work. Okay. Alrighty, folks. This is a mess and a half, but it will work. It will be functional anyway. We're spitting out these copper cables. Just don't know how many machines is this going to take. Probably this many? Probably only another 1 or 2. Probably 1 more. Yeah, let's just do 1 more. And there we go. Okay. Whew. We're getting there. And I'm even going to do this just so that way it's not as much of a struggle. We can layer on these copper wires just a little bit better. Yeah, and now we're getting the resources all the way down to the end. Folks, we've done it. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. So this production of the advanced circuits, if I go back to the last 10 minutes, we were at about 25 a minute. It looks like we're up to 68 a minute now. Yeah, we're doing much better. Oh, and still climbing. And still climbing. Yeah, so geez. So quadrupled. We quadrupled our output here, which is actually very, very important because everything takes red circuits anyway. Before, the previous build was probably enough just to do the science, at least with the amount of science we were putting out. But now we can actually start to take a little bit of this off of the belt just to stay happy. That's fine. Anyway, and so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to wait until we get the resources all the way down, but now I'm going to start to siphon off. How much do I want to siphon off? I want to siphon off so very little, actually. Like a quarter of it I want to siphon off. I want to siphon off like a quarter after it's gone through here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Just gonna filter out for reds. And let's just start putting it into a box. So after our production's already been used up, this is just gonna be the excess. Okay, alrighty. And Manny MM says, I do. Hope you too. You're right. Just 1 week remaining. Oh, snap, crackle, pop. Yeah, I'm doing okay, man. I can't complain. I can't complain. Man, I will tell you though, my general stress levels are a little bit higher than typical. Unfortunately, when I first started my job, I didn't get thrown into the fire. And as I've gotten further into my position, I've realized I've kind of hit my stride. I've realized how much work I need to do to really do things correctly. And that's a little bit stressful because I want to do a good job, right? I think everybody wants to do a good job, but it means that I think more about work. It means that I haven't been playing a lot of games in the evenings much anymore. I just kind of go home and go to sleep. And that's like the mature, responsible thing to do. But it does make me sad a little bit because there's a lot of things I'd like to do. I'd like to do a lot of different things, but sometimes we just got energy for what's right in front of us. And that's not bad, I suppose. That's just the way life is. So anyway, how am I doing? I'm a little bit stressed, but hey, who isn't? If I'm little bit stressed, that probably means that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing in life. Because I'm the kind of person, I like to coast. I like to do a lot of work and then do no work at all. And it sounds weird, maybe potentially, but I like to work really, really hard when there's work to do, but consistent, sustained effort, not so much my thing. I'm just not very good at it. I'd like to be better though. Someday I'll improve. You know, I say someday. I should probably just start getting better. I've been getting better all my life. How about that? Okay, a little bit of this yellow ammo. We're setting off, folks. We're about to do... Whoa, why do I have so much sulfur? We are about to set off. Jeez, I got so much sulfur. Ugh, that's gross. We're about to set off to go do some harm upon our enemy biters. I do have other materials I need to put into my car at some point pretty soon, but yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine for now. Let's just go kill some stuff, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. Do need a little bit more flamethrower ammunition, but look at this. Like, we've curtailed our production enough that even the pollution cloud's not the worst I've ever seen. Not really. Oh, geez. I didn't realize that they were actually coming for us. There might be a new nest that kind of moved into our area before I realized it. There might be just somebody out there that's, they might just be out there waiting for me to destroy them, and I didn't realize how close they were. Because the enemies will move into your area, and there's no notification that they've moved in. So it might be that that's happened. Okay, we are taking a big hit on our vehicle here. That's okay. Repair packs are very, very cheap. Just don't want to lose the full tank. Even if we lose the full tank at this point, like, it's okay. I got plenty of materials. More tanks aren't gonna be a problem. I say that, and then I immediately say, yeah, but let's not let's not ruin a good thing, folks. Oh no! Big Fox was too cavalier. He thought he was invincible. He's not. Pro tip, he's not. Okay. Alrighty. Knowing that I'm not invincible, let's repair this before anything bad happens. By the way, on the right-hand side, that's where all the information is. It's kind of important. So our health is up to 16, 17, 18, 19, 2000 HP on the vehicle here. And so you are able to get health back pretty quickly. If you're under attack, there's no real good way of healing mid-fight. I'd recommend that you just like back off and then come back later. But it's really okay to take a couple hits and then just come back when the time suits you. I'm gonna drive this way so that way the biters walk right into the pollution cloud. These pollution clouds are actually doing work for me. Like, they are actually doing work for me. Okay, so we killed this biter nest. It's been a problem forever. We should go kill... They've built so much. They've built so much. We should kill this one. I'm gonna go take out this one because this one's actually gonna be kind of easy, I think. Oh boy, I don't actually know what's best here. Okay. So a little bit of biter, a little bit of biter. Okay. Sweet. Just going in circles. So why not? I tell you what, I'm just gonna kill this part of the base with grenades. It'll work just as fine. I'll do the one additional poison capsule because it really keeps track of the mini biters so easily, or the mini spitters rather. If you get into the medium spitters, then all of a sudden you're really going to be in a tough time. I can't kill another one of these nests with my tank. If I run over, I'll just die. Or at least I'll lose the tank. And we're almost there. Oh no. And I'm just about there, folks. I am out of ammunition, out of flamethrower turrets, out of grenades, and we're gonna escape just with our life. It feels so good for it. So I am going to go clear out these other 2 nests, and then we've been playing for about 2 hours, and in 2 hours we've gotten up to the tank. We got all the way through chemical science. We did not have chemical science at the beginning of this run, and we've really built out a full cracking platform. We've got all the way up to bots. That's going to unlock a lot of things for the next time. And yeah, I think that we're in a really good spot to actually stop and just notice that we've done a lot of good work, and we're going to be happy with that. And I think what I'm going to do, because I got the 4 hours recorded that were up to this point. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to not just post them, I'm going to edit them down so that way they're maybe 30 to 40 minutes in 4 hours, and then I'll just splice these 2 videos together and just make one nice video. The other 2 videos that are going to be put together with this one are going to have just a voiceover as opposed to me talking while I'm playing. To be honest, Factorio is the type of game that I think it's actually much better if people play and devote their full brain power into playing and then they do a voiceover later. I think that's actually the way that I prefer to see people play Factorio. That's just me, my 2 cents. But this has still been fun. I don't think, is this the first time I've ever played Factorio on stream? This might be the first time I've ever played Factorio on stream. Oh my goodness. This is kind of a momentous occasion actually then. Huh. All right, well, whatever the case, this has actually been fun. I've really enjoyed getting to spend a little bit of time playing a game that, you know, doesn't stress me out. Huh. He says it doesn't stress him out, as he says that everything goes wrong when the biters kill him and take over his base. I think I can just go here. No, what do I gotta do here? What do I gotta do to get it through to you? There we go. I'm just gonna make a huge bottleneck here. It's not really a bottleneck. It's blue belt here, blue belt here. It's just gonna be a 1-to-1. Typically I don't do that because it just looks tacky, but it'll work. And so now we've increased our green circuit production. Yeah, it looks like 2 is actually plenty sufficient for this whole construction. Let me just check that one more time. Blues for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, so we hit this big spike and then we ran out of green circuits. And now as our green circuits get caught back up, we're gonna go back up there. Okay, perfect. So then let's see, what else were we gonna do before we were gonna end? We were gonna, oh, look right there. There's a biter nest right there. You can tell it's right there. And they've been attacking over here. So let's go grab that really quickly. Things to do, places to be. And I know that there's a biter nest there because the pollution cloud looks like there's just like a hole in the pollution cloud. That's just atypical behavior. So it's pretty obvious to me that there's a problem there. We got plenty of yellow ammunition. We got the ammo. I do want to get a few more grenades though. Those kind of worked okay. It's amazing how many grenades you can throw in such a short amount of time though. Alrighty. We'll tell you what, let's just work our way from the south to the north. Did I come back for anything else? Flamethrower ammunition. I'll grab that really. No, I'll grab that next time. We've got just enough in our personal stores. It'll be okay. Wow, look at that. The spitter actually got to the flamethrower turret. That's crazy. Where are these enemies coming from? They're not coming from here up there. That's crazy. I actually don't know what's happening, but I'm interested to find out. Okay, I'm actually gonna do something kind of weird. I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna throw down a couple of these assemblers, or these solar panels with the assemblers, and I'm actually gonna make, really quickly, I'm gonna make a couple of radars in the field. It's just kind of funny that we're doing it this way. I like doing radars with solar panels because then you can kind of keep track of the surrounding area without actually getting big power poles out here. But it seems weird to just throw down enough solar to just barely build a little bit of production. That part seems weird. If you look on my mini map on the upper right, you can tell the big blue circle. That's how far my radar can see. So if I sketch out, it'll go there. Oh my goodness, folks, we gotta go north. No! Look at the mini map. Look at the mini map. You see this red thing coming towards my base? That is a pile of gross people that mean me so much harm. Look at these guys. Get the hints. Oh my gosh. Jeez. If these guys had hit my base right there, if I hadn't noticed that, we would have been so sunk. Holy cow. Alrighty, I guess if these guys are a little bit... I guess I gotta take the biters a little bit more seriously. maybe in true earnestness, I've just got to start plopping down more of these radars just to prevent the unseen enemy. The unseen blade is the deadliest, or so I'm told. All right, so we're gonna go through here. Yeah, there might be more than just this one nest of biters. Look how many freaking biters this is. You are bananas. It's a good thing I've got a little bit of flamethrower ammo to just take out all you in one fell swoop. Holy cow. All right. I'm still happy with the way that went. That could have been so much worse. Oh, there it is. There was that one over there already, I thought. Could be wrong. Okay, and when the sun comes up, that'll turn on. That'll be nice. Go here. Look at all of these itty-bitty little spitters. Spit though they might want to, they're not going to get through. They're not going to ruin my day. Let's see. I didn't heal up before we did this, did I? That's not great. I'm gonna need to do that real quick. Okay. I'm losing health while I'm gaining it, but it's not the worst thing ever. This is a couple more biters I really want to deal with. Okay. I like that I don't get poisoned, by the way. I like that the poison is biter specific. That would actually be pretty frustrating if you could poison yourself. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it makes sense. But it's just the way it goes. Okay. We are going to do 2 more of these poison drops. Since now we know that they actually stack. I didn't actually know that. I totally did not know that. 2,000 hours in Factorio. How did I not know that poison capsules stack? Okay. Alrighty, cool. 1 more biter nest down. And in the meantime, we're actually not researching anything we should. Let's do worker robot size, and let's also do speed. Just because like minimal speed is just not even fun to play with. Holy cow. The minimal speed for the bots, it's functional, but it just makes me upset. Because I'm used to bots flying around at Mach 12. Just as fast as they possibly can. And so when they don't, I feel like there's something wrong with the game, even though it's just like, no, you just haven't gotten there yet. Calm down. You'll get there eventually. And then you have to remind yourself, just because you want it now doesn't mean you've done the work to get it just yet. Pay the price to be who you want to be. And okay, 3 should be just fine. Alrighty. Here we go. We're actually defeating a bunch of these enemies without too many problems. Very good. Problem is that there's enough spittle upon the ground. That is causing me a bit of problems here. And another one. I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm not gonna kill another one of these nests without this. Oh my gosh, folks, we've gotten up to medium biters. How many hours are we into this playthrough? We're already up to medium spitters. We're up to medium biters, yes, but now we're also up to medium spitters. That's crazy. The more enemies you kill, the more pollution that they eat, the more they get, I don't know, like the more their evolution happens. But this is still a little bit more than I was planning on. We might just have to rush into nuclear just to make sure that we can always nuke a base from afar, just to stay alive. Not something I was planning on in this Deathworld run. I have done a Deathworld run before where it was not in the woods, but in the desert. This one's much nicer. In the desert, when there's no trees and no pollution, a soaking ability, it's a struggle, but now this has actually been fairly pleasant, all things considered. A little bit surprising. We're gonna put a radar down. We'll do 2 solar panels. And so during the day, these solar panels are actually doing quite a bit of work for me. I just have to remember to keep putting them up there. Boyster says, road over, gonna scram, see you next time. Hey, take such good care, man. I appreciate the lurk, appreciate the time, and I hope that your road trip goes well. I didn't ask you where you were going, but hopefully you and your family are safe. Hopefully it's the funnest trip ever. Take good care, my guy. Appreciate you. And okay. Couple of dead nests. Oh wow. Even the nests, as the evolution factor gets a little bit higher, the nests get a little tougher to kill. Yeah. The evolution factor is really starting to kick in. Remember when we first started using the tank to kill stuff and we were just walking right through these enemies? I can already tell it's starting to feel quite a bit tougher to get some forward momentum. It's actually getting harder. Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, I'm gonna kill this one final nest. We're gonna repair, and then from there, I think we've turned out this whole area that we really need to. The problem with Factorio, folks, is this: it's such a good game, and there's so many things that I recognize right now that I'd still like to do. And in fact, I kind of want to. I kind of want to take the car to the western side and get the solar panels up on the western side just to keep an eye on my pollution cloud. And so I say, oh, I'm done. And then I go out and I do this. And I keep going. The problem with Factorio. But that is actually one of the best parts about any game is if the game can really make you just want to play 1 or 2 more turns, that's when you know you got a good game. Factorio is absolutely that game for me. It's one of my favorite things that I still, to this day, when I do play Factorio, I'll sometimes forget if the sun is out because it's in the morning or if it's in the evening. Actually not the best thing from a mature standpoint, but pretty good from a gamer perspective. Okay. And up. All right, perfect. So we're gonna do one right about here. If the enemies expand, they can expand into your solar panels and then they'll just take out this advanced warning. That still has done its job. It's still a nice, the cost is still totally worth it just to have the advanced warning that, hey, somebody that you weren't planning on is in your zone that you've already kind of cleared out. Okay. And then we'll do one to the southwest. And again, how I'm deciding where to put these, it's based off of the mini-map. The mini-map is letting me know about what the coverage could be when I plop down one of these radars. So there's like a little bit of a gap to the west that hasn't yet been filled. I could do it right here just to get the very, very most value out of the setup. I'll just put it right about here. Okay. Alrighty, folks. So again, chemical science is up. We've secured our borders. As far as Deathworld runs go, not too bad. As far as like the Lazy Bastard run, it is taking me a little bit of extra time to do things correctly, right? Without building things in my hand. And that's not too bad. This is actually maybe, I mean, it's the best way of playing Factorio, sure. But I don't think I've ever done the Lazy Bastard run just for fun. I always did it to like do an achievement. This is actually turning out to be pretty fun for me. I'm having a good time there. Okay, final look at the base. Science production's throttled because we just don't have enough chemical science. We don't have enough chemical science because there's just time it takes. Why are these regular assemblers? Oh my gosh. We're gonna update our regular assemblers into tier 2s. I don't know why that hasn't been that way. That's a mistake. Move this down. We're gonna get one more bit of chemical science going, and every little bit is going to be helpful. Gonna do this now. When I need additional red circuits, I'm just going to pull them before they get to here. 'Cause I'm to the point where because I've increased the supply so much, yeah, I'm actually getting backed up, which is great. What a good problem to have. It won't be that way forever, so let's enjoy it while we can. And then any other updates? I guess I could update. Yeah, let's just get into blue assemblers up here as well on all the sciences, just so that way things are as fast as possible, as often as possible, as fast as possible. Okay. There's some kids playing outside and they are having the time of their life. I love it. You know, a library, I think I've said this before, a library is one of the last places on earth that you can just go without any expectation of spending money. Like other places, like, hey man, if you're gonna be here, you gotta spend money. I really do love that my local library does a great job in supporting just local families and people trying to be interested. I'm excited to kind of take my kid to the library so that we can enjoy the summer reading program. I think that he's gonna do a great job with that. And yeah, haven't mentioned it anywhere else, but if you're interested, I think I need to take a big step back from YouTube for a while and from Twitch. And the reason being is because I just need to focus on my kid. He wants to spend time with dad right now, and he might not in the future. So now is the most important time for me to spend time with my kids. And so it's actually it's not even like a problem. It's not like oh, what was Fix Fox kind of moment. It's like, dude, I'm grateful for the opportunity to have a kid that wants to spend time with me. So I'm actually really looking forward to taking a break during the summer, maybe coming back during the winter. We'll see. We'll see. Then again, the problem is I don't want to say something like that and then break people's expectations by like catching a wild hare, having like a free weekend. Like this weekend, my kid's not even with me. He's with his grandparents. Like his grandma and grandpa took him to go have fun at their house, which is great. And yeah, those times are going to come up where I don't need to, it's not a problem, right? And then I'll probably do a video here and there randomly. So I'm not saying, oh, Pixfox is not doing videos right now. I'm just trying to be smart and wise about my time, and I just have other priorities during the summer. During the winter, video games, great. During the summer, you know what? There's a lot of things that I need to do during the summer. That doesn't hurt my heart. Okay, folks. So, future things to do on this game. Oh, we do need to get better processing for copper. We need to probably start looking at filling out the rest of this iron patch and actually getting it fully saturated. We need to... I do want to keep on this general smelting format though, because honestly, if we make more pollution, that's actually worse in a big way. We've cleared out our boundaries. We are getting in through the arms race. Maybe I just rush into nuclear. Maybe we just rush right on into nuclear. Where is it? And get into Kovarex, then we can eventually get into nuclear weapons. There's a lot to do there, and in order to get into nukes anyway, you got to get into space. I just don't want to rush into space. I got so much important stuff to do here. So much I need to do here. There's a lot of Factorio left to be played in this game. So folks, yeah, that's gonna be the end of this. I'm gonna hit save. We're gonna save off for the day. Xbox Deathworld. I am gonna load up. Let's see. I want to just take a quick peek. 52 hours here. 26 hours there. 23 hours, 28 hours, 85 hours. I got a lot of different saves, 19 hours, 23 hours, and these are all different saves, like different worlds. And some of the big ones were, you know, before Space Age even came out. What I'm trying to say is I love Factorio. It's a great game. And even hundreds of hours into it, thousands of hours into it, it's still wonderful to play. This base is really weird and not the way I typically do it, but at least we're alive. So let the biters chew on somebody else, and in the meantime, we're gonna stay alive. Folks, do me a huge favor, and yeah, look after you, look after your friends, look after your family, take very good care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? My name is Fix Fox. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.